Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of PHT TV, and welcome to the brand new line of Reference Premier speakers. This is the Gen 2 of all of these models, and as you can see behind me, we have a lot to cover over the next couple of weeks. We're gonna kick it off today with the RP-500M II, and from there we're gonna go week by week and introduce you to the rest of the second generation of this series of Reference Premier. Without further delay, let's go ahead and get started and unbox the RP-500M II. Extra careful not to dip the knife in too deep, so not to scratch the speakers inside. As per usual with our Klipsch boxes, when you open this up, you have the owner's manual here. Shiny new owner's manual with the PWK logo on the front and Klipsch Keepers of the Sound on the back. As we see in the earlier gen Reference Premier line, this manual does cover basically the whole series. So we're not going to go into too much depth in this in future videos, but it will cover the 8060 FAs, the 8000 F2s, the 6000 F2s, 5000 F2s, 600Ms, 500Ms, 502s, 500s, 504Cs, 404Cs, and 500Cs. So this manual is going to be identical throughout the entire line, and it's going to deal with placement, it's going to deal with connections, it's going to deal with how to get the most out of your speakers. Next in the booklet, we have our limited warranty card for passive speakers. So this is going to tell you more about your warranty with these guys. And then your pocket Reference Premier guide, which is your important safety instructions. Let's go ahead and wrap these guys back up, toss them off to the side. So not only do you have a wrapping box that goes all the way around, but it divides the speakers so that in shipment they can't bounce back and forth and touch each other. You have an extended foam on the outside, so to further prevent damage to speakers as well. And it fits right in there, making sure that the speakers aren't moving and that they are protected. Next, we are going to pull out our grill for each speaker, and I'm actually going to come back to the grills here in a bit because their grills have been updated in this series as well. All right, I've got one front facing and one rear facing so you can see the front and the back at the same time. And without further delay, here we go. Here we have your brand new Klipsch RP500M II. Now, each grill comes in its own box. All right, so there's your grills. Now, there have been some cosmetic updates to this speaker. The first of which you'll notice when the grill is on is that the shape of the front of the speaker has changed. The grill kind of flows a little bit better into the rest of the speaker, and the grill has also been tapered, so you'll notice that the design is thinner at the top and kind of flows into the bottom here, and that gives an overall better appearance and highlights the logo a little bit more as well. Now, most of you guys, when you're looking at speakers, you don't necessarily care as much about the aesthetics, but it's nice to have good aesthetics blended in with those acoustic updates as well. So now when you take off the grill though, what you're gonna notice is that the horn is massive. Aesthetically, that's going to change it, yes, but it's also going to impact it acoustically as well. So the new horn is going to be stretched all the way out to the edges, which is going to improve your soundstage, and it's going to improve your imaging, and it's also going to increase the efficiency of the high frequency drivers in this new generation line, which is actually going to bring me into my next point. To speak more to this, what Klipsch has actually done is they've removed the ferrofluid from the high frequency driver in this new generation of Reference Premier. To those of you not familiar with what that is, ferrofluid is essentially designed to keep the high frequency driver cool when moving at such rapid speeds. With this new larger horn, it makes the whole system more efficient, making the use of ferrofluid no longer needed. So it's going to increase the overall efficiency as well and keep the driver cooler. The next new update I want to talk to you about in the second generation of Reference Premier lines is going to be the improved cabinet bracing throughout. We're going to dive into this a little bit more later because I actually want to take this guy apart and see what's inside. But basically what it's going to do is it's going to minimize your resonance and improve the overall clarity of the speaker throughout. One other item is in the woofers, they've actually added a shorting ring to reduce distortion. In addition to the driver changes, in addition to the cabinet changes, they've actually refined the voicing of the speaker as well. Throughout the entire line, everything has been revoiced, so it's going to be a brand new speaker inside and out. It is not just putting makeup on the first gen, it is a brand new design throughout. Now, before I go any further, I think one of the most important key updates to this speaker, in my opinion at least, with the new biggest thing being the upgrade to the cabinet design, I want to take these guys apart. I'm going to take out the drivers and show you what they look like on the inside, as well as show you what the cabinet itself looks like on the inside. So I'm going to grab some tools and I'll be right back. All right, so we are gonna start with the horn here. And basically it's gonna be identical to the previous generations where you just get a little bit of finger around there and you can yank that horn right off. As you can see, it's got little divots in it everywhere in order to fit along these and fit snugly. Now these are going directly into the wood, so as always I recommend using a screwdriver as opposed to a drill. This is more important when you're going back in than when you're coming out, but I typically do it both ways just to be safe there. And tilt forward, puts the weight going forward, and then you're able to remove as such. Now these are very tight. Very tight. This is our RP-500M II driver and horn combo. Let's set this off to the side. Bring this guy in a little closer again and drop down to our woofer. Now with our woofer, many of you guys may recall from our previous generation disassemblies that there is this ring that goes all the way around the woofer in order to, essentially it's called a beauty ring, that's designed to cover up the screws. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pry this off. If you can, grab it with your nails. If not, there are other options you can use. Now, the goal here when removing this is to get behind here with something somewhat soft and kind of pry out this beauty ring. It is pressure fitted in there. So you're gonna need to give it a little bit of pull, but you wanna use something soft so not to damage the speaker itself. What I typically use is I use a thin flathead screwdriver that is wrapped in electrical tape to prevent damage to the outside. That said, it has been recommended in previous videos some other options, my favorite of which I haven't tried yet, but I probably will on one of these upcoming videos, is to use a guitar pick. A guitar pick should theoretically work as well. But basically, you just want to work your way slowly around the edge, because if you just grab here and pull, what you're going to do is you're going to snap it halfway through and you'll have to replace the beauty ring as well. So you work your way around the edge. If needed, you can grab your tool as well and kind of use it to help you pry in the areas where it's a little tougher. Most of the time you should be able to get it with just your fingers though. As always, just be extra cautious. First off, not to damage the surrounds of the woofer, and also not to damage the cabinet itself. I have a particularly pesky one here. And there we go. This is our beauty ring. And essentially it's got these little expanding components to where you just put it in there and you pop it into place and it hides these screws that are in there. Grab my screwdriver here again. Now, as you can see, the woofer and the tweeter, or the woofer and the horn, use identical screws. So I'm just gonna put them all in the same pile there, because I'm not worried about mixing them up. As I did with the high frequency driver, I'm saving the bottom, or one of the two bottom screws for last. With these lighter drivers, it's not gonna make a huge difference because there's not as much magnet weight to try and pull it downwards and pop it up. Pull out this last screw. Then, if you're just replacing the woofer without the high frequency driver out, then you can kind of let it go and it'll fall. If you are replacing both, then you can actually help it with this other finger here. So you'd pull it out, flip it over to reveal your terminals here. Disconnect your terminals. And here is your low frequency driver, or your woofer, of the RP500M. Set that off to the side. Now, the moment I'm most excited about, I want to take a look inside this cabinet. That is interesting. So, first thing I notice is this padding all the way around the cabinet and all the way around the drivers. It's going to reduce the resonance and give it a clearer, crisper sound. And you may not be able to see it, but it does go all the way to the back of the cabinet, if I feel all the way back there. Additionally, you can kind of see it at the bottom here. There is this additional brace right here, and that brace wraps all the way around up to the side. You can kind of see it a little bit more right here below the Tractrix port, and then it wraps all the way up the side of the cabinet and all the way around. So definitely some additional bracing in here that was not there before. So here is your RP500M taken apart. All right guys, I think that's gonna be about all we have for you today. That is the Klipsch RP500M II unboxing and disassembly. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below and we'd be happy to help. Also leave a comment below to let us know which of this new generation you are most excited about. For me personally, that's gonna be the 8000s in their new cabinet design, but I'll go over more of that later. Please click that like and subscribe button below, and we'll see you again next week for another episode of PHT TV. Brand new reference premiere. It's here, guys. All right, let's do this. We're gonna turn this around because this side is less dirty. Is that prettier? Sure is. Hey guys, welcome back to, what show is this? I forgot what we were doing, cram it. In addition to the driver changes, in addition to the cabinet changes, they've actually refined